So how do we help people make good decisions? Well, the first thing as a good coach, we need to sort out how we're thinking about the client. If we're thinking about the client in a way that is worrying that they're going to make a mistake, that we don't think they've got what it takes to make a good decision, then we're starting off from the wrong place. Actually, from there, we can't really be any help. We need to get ourselves to a place where we're reminded of the fact that they are an expert in being them, that they are full of potential, and that they've got access within them to a kind of unique genius that they need to draw on to make a good decision in this situation. Now, once we've got that out of the way, we need to remember that they as a human being consist of some different parts. We've got almost, you could think of it as an outer self that is full of observable data. So actions, behaviors, habits, routines, things that they say, idioms, phrases that they repeat, accents, identity, ways of being in the world that they've arrived at. But then if we go a next layer down, we all have unconscious ways of being, and that consists of things that we think and that we feel that we're not even fully consciously aware of. We need to help them sift through, sort through, feel their way through what's the relevant information for making this decision. What might be motivating and energizing our decision-making process from that unconscious level. Some people might feel a bit skeptical about that and think, to what extent am I really driven by those unconscious processes? And to those people, I would say, well, think about the whole advertising industry. The advertising industry in the 40s and 50s really expressed its belief that we are driven very powerfully by unconscious desires and fears, which is why in our advertising, companies try and access not what we think we want, but what at a deeper level we might respond to. Now, what's important for us to notice in our coaching work is that letting go of some of those even unconscious beliefs and thoughts is quite a scary process. One writer talks about it as learning anxiety, a sort of panic that we feel when we're letting go of something so that we can take up something else. And I often think about it as a kind of mental monkey bars, that you can't move forward without letting go of the bar that's giving you security and safety in the present. So in order to change what we think, we actually have to release our hold on what we're holding on to and scan and explore and think about other ways of thinking and acting before we're able to take hold of a new way of being, of a new way of making decisions. Another writer talks about this as needing to come from a disorienting dilemma, that something needs to happen, whether it be in our life or something that's triggered internally within us, that makes us question what we have believed up to now. Until we've got to that place of a disorienting dilemma, we don't dare explore something new. So as a coach, we've got to hold this tension between believing and trusting that this person is full of potential and they have within them all that is required for them to make a good decision in this situation. And we also need to be aware that thinking or acting in a new way is a scary and brave and courageous thing to do. And part of what the coaching partnership exists to do is to help boost that courage as they're in that transitional journey of learning. So once we've reminded ourselves that they're full of potential, we've reminded ourselves that they're operating at different levels of from conscious awareness and unconscious awareness, we now need to help them to tune into two voices in particular, which I think of as the advocate and the accuser. So the voice in their head that says, you can do this, you are brave, You are strong. You can accomplish what you set your mind to. You are creative and you can find clever ways forward. It doesn't overpromise or flatter and say that we're superhuman, that we don't have limits, that we can do anything, but it speaks to our courage, our perseverance, our resilience, and our strength and creativity. And that's what we need to engage with in order to make good decisions. That other voice, the accuser, really is like a voice of fear-driven anxiety. It often tries to stop us believing in our power. So it might talk about how many times that we've failed, or how small we are compared to somebody else, or how little we've achieved, or how often we can get things wrong. A good way of telling the difference between those two voices is that the advocate voice doesn't deny that we fail and that we're imperfect, but it speaks of how much courage and creativity and potential we have anyway, that we're able to put into practice and into use. So through a process of conversations with clients, I want them to practice tuning in to what voice is taking the lead in their decision making, and not to deny any of the relevant data, but to think, is this making a decision based on a belief in my potential, my creativity, and my courage? Or is this making a decision based on being limited by limited beliefs? And another important aspect to be aware of is how those voices become louder in different situations. For your clients, they're working with you will be a situation, an environment where that inner voice of creativity and potential is easy for it to be loud and easy to be heard. We also encounter situations in our lives that trigger the negative voice to become much louder. And the more we can become attuned to and tuned into when that voice is being activated, the more freely and the more easily we can make good decisions with that discernment apparatus that is in each of us.